Hi there, I'm Jess Haywood. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the Belonging and Engagement Coordinator for clubs and organizations. This training is for club leaders on the second part of filling out an event registration form. So you have just watched the trainings on filling out the first page of the form, that is the front public facing page. And now we're going to look at the second page. So we're looking at the advanced options. This is on the first page still. We've got the create event button at the bottom. Keep in mind, once you click create event, it does not create your event. You still have the second step of the process to complete, which is the on-campus information. So you'll see information here about submissions, etc. And if you scroll down, you'll see the form that we have built for SOU. So we're going to walk through all of these different options and just let you know what they mean and kind of walk you through if you're having food or if you need something special. The first question is where your event is being held. The answer to this question determines what is required regarding food, reservations, etc. So if you click on campus, you'll see it will pop up some more questions that apply specifically to on campus. The next piece we have is food will be served. So let's pretend food is going to be served at our event. And let's also pretend that it's going to be a barbecue or an open flame, which requires a permit and approval. We also have more questions for all events. This applies for on and off campus events. If you're requesting a contract. So for example, you are hiring a person, renting a space. So examples are guest speaker, venue rental, performer, equipment rental, etc. Note, this also includes speakers and presenters who are not being paid. So if you are bringing anyone on campus to share knowledge, skills, or entertainment, you will need to click contract requested, whether you're paying them or if they are a guest speaker and they're doing it for free. This community member is not affiliated with SOU will be volunteering at the event. So that means people outside of SOU will be coming to help set up, tear down, check people in, etc. That's going to require a volunteer conditions of service form. Community members not affiliated with SOU will be attending the event. This question will ask a couple other questions later on that determines whether you will need the public to fill out an assumption of risk form for your event, or if nothing is needed, if they're just coming to view a show or something. We want to show a movie or a TV show. You have already seen training on the fact that we need to do some special contracting and things like that to get the movie rights. So that's going to ask you a few more questions. So you will probably only select one or two of these. If none of these apply, make sure to check those buttons and those extra questions will not pop up. The next question you see is risk level. So you will have to do a couple extra things if it's medium or high risk. The examples are here. A low risk event is minimal chance of injury, for example, a club meeting. A medium risk event is that there's moderate physical effort or moderate injuries such as twisting an ankle. So more active activities, outdoor activities, etc. High is a significant physical effort or elevated chance of serious injury such as broken bones, concussions, etc. So that includes skiing, ice skating, bicycling, paddleboarding, bounce houses. They don't seem that dangerous, but we've had people break arms on them. So you're going to choose the level of your risk. If you choose medium, it will pop up just a little bit of information to please explain the risk that's involved. If you choose high, it will bring up a completely new page that's got more information in it. So now we see the high risk page, describe in detail your activities. So you have to have at least 10 words. Ooh, okay. So you need to put in the activities and what risks they include. I am not doing a real form, so I'm just filling out some information. Will your advisor be in attendance the entire time? If not, explain in the comments section. So if there's going to be effect to your staff is going to help us determine what needs to be done. So yes or no, comments. And then describe in detail what steps your club members will take to mitigate the injury or possible risk of injury. So if you're going swimming, keep in mind you can have different floaties. You will be in a place where there's a lifeguard, etc. Describe any training videos that hosts or training that hosts will have, who will be trained, etc. So if you're doing like an open flame, and then describe any special equipment that you plan on having, such as a first aid kit. So this is very important information because this information is going to go directly to the risk manager at SOU who does not work in our office. So they need enough information to determine whether your high risk activity will be allowed to take place or not. Keep in mind, it's possible that it might not be allowed to take place. When you go to next, we're going to see some of those other pieces pop up. Since we said we are on campus, it's going to ask us if we are in the Stevenson Union. We are going to pretend that we are, and we've got information here about contacting Kay. You should have already contacted Kay before filling out this form. If you have a reservation, you click yes, you have a confirmation, and Kay will double check that when it comes through for her approval. Now we have food on campus. We've got the specific rules. If we select SOU catering, it will give you a little bit of information about the catering website. If we select students or third-party caterer, and you select food cooked or served by students, you need to follow the steps that are included to get a food waiver form approved, which is linked right here, in order to have food that is not through SOU catering. For the next section, we are going to see some more questions pop up. Oh, I didn't click something. There you go. So now we've got the open flame barbecue permit. This is not going to be a very common thing that you're going to use, but if you are planning on doing anything with a flame or a barbecue or a grill or hot oil, you do need to click on this permit, download it, fill it out, and then upload it. And that will be sent to risk management for approval. I must upload a file here. Let's just choose something that I've got. If you need to pause and download that form and fill it out, you can always save as a draft and then find your form again by going to the main menu, going to My Activity, clicking on My Surveys and Forms, and then finding the form there and clicking on Edit to continue editing it. The next piece, we click community volunteers. So there's lots of questions on what they are helping with. If you click giving a presentation, that is going to pop up that you do need to do a contract instead. So read over the information and make sure that you understand that any volunteers need to fill out the volunteer service form, which is essentially an assumption of risk form for volunteers. They can fill one out for an entire term if they work with your club regularly. So keep that in mind if you've got people in the community that work with your club. The next piece that we come to is community attendees. So remember, it's going to ask us what the risk level is. So it's required if there's a higher risk level, like the community is coming to a bounce house or a volleyball tournament or a 5K run. If it's a low risk, then they do not need this piece. So you can select which is appropriate, whether they need to fill out that form or not. Then we get to the contract request info. So you will be trained on contracts a little bit later in the training. Keep in mind, anything that is a person coming to campus who is sharing their skills, their education, or entertainment, such as a DJ, a guest speaker, someone doing a workshop, etc., whether they are being paid or not being paid, they still need a contract. So please read over this information carefully to determine whether you need a contract, and then click if it's paid or unpaid. If they are unpaid, the contract is a little bit simpler. If it's paid, we need to get a lot more information from them in order to complete that contract with them. So answer the questions that pop up. Next, we have movie nights, since we selected that. So there's a lot of information about movie nights. It is federal law that you purchase the license to show the movie. before you do that. So keep in mind, those are pretty expensive. Most movies are not public domain. And you can put in the purpose of the movie. Most of them are just going to be entertainment and fun. And then if you've gotten a price quote, you can upload that and put some information on how much it will be. And we will take that information and work on getting the license for you. The next page we see is a $0 contract. So we put in that we are not paying our contract. So we are going to put the information here for the contractee and how they're going to be interacting with the club, for example, guest speaker. And then downloading the $0 contract, sending it to your presenter and having them fill it out and send it back to you, send it back to us. If you already have done that, then you can go ahead and upload the file. However, this question is not required at the time because we know that some people might not fill out a contract until they show up in person right before the event and they sign a paper contract, and then you can turn that in to us afterwards. So make sure that you get any contracts back to us as soon as possible, either before or immediately after the event. The next piece is equipment. So we have options of things that you all can borrow from us. And so you can look over the equipment. If there's something that you want to borrow, including a cash box, you can click that information here. And if you click on this, it will bring up the different things that you can rent. And then submit. So we clicked all of the options that popped up so I could walk you through all of them. Keep in mind, yours is probably not going to be as intense as this because you're probably not going to have all of those options. So the form should be a lot shorter, especially if you're doing very simple events like a little craft event or a club meeting. It should be pretty quick to fill out the form. We only did the form for on-campus events. So make sure that you look over the information for travel and off-campus events and those event requirements to make sure that you're filling out that part correctly if you are going off campus.